guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you are new. I'm Annisa and I did this skull Halloween makeup look. It is inspired by Giuliana Maria, my friend. So I'll leave her link down below so you guys can follow her. And yeah, I am going to be doing a new Halloween makeup tutorial every Saturday of this month. And I'm going to try my best to upload it at like 8 p.m. Eastern time. If not, then 12 p.m. Eastern time in the nighttime. So yeah, and yeah, I used a couple palettes for this look for different colors. So I use Lime Crime Venus Vivid palette, and I use the two yellows in here because it's nice and sparkly and glittery and matte and pigmented. So yeah, and I use my palette. You can use my discount code online to get this palette. It's MyTyes palette from MyTube's Cosmetics, and I use the green in the shadow right here for this palette. This one is the lightest, brightest green I have. Pigmented, it's not that metallic, it's nice and smooth and it blends very nicely. So yeah, and the palette I use for another green shade is a dark green shade, and I use Morphe times Jeffree Star palette, and the dark green shade is what she used for like definition and shading and like blending in between the light colors. So I picked this one because it's the darkest green I have that is pigmented, and I use this one right here. And yeah, I use that for my shading of my eyeshadow look and the blending part of the skull look. I also use Naked 7 Artful Beauty palette. You can use my discount code at checkout from Qing Beauty. I use a few shades in this palette for this look. I use one green shade that I mixed in with the green shade from MyTyes palette, and it's called Luxury. This one right here is a light one, a light green, but it's matte and it's pigmented and it blends in very nicely, and it doesn't get chalky like the other ones. But I think these are other darker colors are more chalky than that one, so I use that for like blending and with a light green shade from my MyTyes palette and mix it. And I use Morphe James Charles palette right here. The shade I use like only once to mix it in with the yellow shades from my Lime Crime palette, just so it's more matte and not too glittery. And I use a yellow shade from this palette. So yeah, I use that yellow shade on my lid actually for my cut crease. So yeah, had one purpose for this palette, but the rest of the times that I use yellow, I didn't use that palette for blending. So subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload new videos. I'll be uploading new videos every week. Buy my bookstore, Black Girls United. The link to my book and the makeup products that I use will be in the description down below. And follow me on all my socials: Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Smule, Wattpad, TikTok, Pinterest, and Facebook. And yeah, subscribe.
Looking at you is the fix. Highlight of my life just like that Fenty Beauty kit.
Hey guys, so I'm gonna start off by filling in my brows. I am using my eyebrow brush and comb to brush up my eyebrow hairs, and then I'm just gonna fill it in. I am using the Morphe Jeffree Star palette, and the deep dark brown shade I'm using is called Hi Dude. I'm using this shade to fill in my brows, and I'm using my right angle brush to fill in my brows in the natural shape. I am now using my Zuva eye primer in the shade Matte. It's a matte long wear primer for my eyeshadow base. And I'm using my round, fluffy, tapered brush to apply it and blend it in. And when I applied it, I used a little bit too much primer on the brush and I applied it on my eyes. So I have a lot of primer on my eyelids and it's going to take a while to blend it in. It starts off nice and thick and wet when you apply it like a concealer, and then it'll dry down to be matte. And yeah, so use a little bit at a time when you apply it on the eyes, because it'll take longer to blend in when you use a lot. And I end up using my fingertips to blend in the primer to make sure there's no cracks and creases on the primer when it's blended in. The first eyeshadow palette I'm using is Black Smoky palette, and this is from Black Up Paris. And I'm using the 6th eyeshadow color. It's a dark blue navy color. First, I am using this detailed blending brush. It's a small, medium, round pencil fluffy blending brush that I have, and I'm just going to use this brush first. The shade I'm using is a dark blue shade from my Black Up Paris Black Smoky Eye palette. It's a 6th shade in that palette, and I'm just tapping it on the corners of my eye. I'm starting by tapping it on the crease and the outer corner, and I'm going to take it in the inner corner, and I'm just using tapping motions to get the pigment of the shadow, and then I'm going to lightly blend it in after. I am using Morphe Jeffree Star palette, and I'm using this dark green shade called Late. And I'm just going to use this to tap along the edges of my eyelids over the color that I have on already. I'm using this brush right here. It's another detailed brush. It's a flat edge, round, buff, fluffy, medium small blending brush. And I'm just going to tap it on the outer corners and the edge of the blue shade that I have on my crease. And I'm just going to lightly tap it on to get the color pigment. And then I'm going to lightly blend it in windshield wiper motions. I am now going to dip into my Qing Beauty Artful Beauty palette. Naked 7 Artful Beauty palette. You can use my discount code at checkout when you buy this palette online. The green shade I'm using is a light matte green shade right here. It is called Luxury. And I'm just going to use this to blend over the dark green shade that I already have on my lid. I'm using this tiny fluffy, it's not tiny, it's a medium fluffy blending brush. And it's a nice flat edge blending brush. I am also using MyTyes Timeless palette from MyTyes Cosmetics. I'm using the light green shade in this palette, and I'm just going to mix those two and blend it in over the green shade that I have on the lid, over the edges, and I'm just going to lightly blend it in and tap on the color until I get the pigment. And I'm lightly just blending it in the crease and the inner corner and outer corner of my eyelid over the edges of the green shade that I already have on. The next palette I'm using is Morphe James Charles palette, and I am going to use this shade right here. It's the yellow shade, and this shade is called B. And I am going to use this shade with some other colors from my Venus Vivid Lime Crime palette, and I'm going to mix a B shade from James palette and use these two yellow shades called Happy Place and Lux. And I'm using this detailed blending brush right here. It's a pencil blending brush. And I'm using the round edge, flat edge blending brush. And I don't feel like I have to keep repeating what I'm going to say, but I'm just going to tap the color over the edge of the green shades that I have on. And I am just going to lightly tap on the color until I get the pigment. And I'm going to take it around the edges, around the lines of my eyelid, and I'm just going to blend it in afterwards. And I'm just going to keep on doing it and blending it in and going over it with the same colors that I use. Going back into the same Morphe James Charles palette, using the yellow shade called B, and I am just going to use this shade, and I'm going to use the same colors, Happy Place and Lux, these two yellow shades in my Venus Vivid Lime Crime palette, and I'm using this flat medium fluffy blending brush, and I am just going to take it on the lid. I did not cut the crease. I am just going to take it on the lid, and I'm just going to blend it in and tap it on until I get the colors, and then I'm going to blend it in afterwards. I am now going into my Morphe Jeffree Star palette, and I'm going back in with the shade Nate, the dark green shade right here, and I am using this round fluffy tiny blending brush, and I'm just going over the colors again, and I'm just going to place it over the cut crease that I did and blend it in over the edges, just so I can get the color to show in case some were faded away while I was blending the other colors. And I'm just gonna go back and forth with the same colors and the same brushes, and I'm gonna do the same thing again. And I'm going back in with the colors from the yellow shades that I used before. And every color that I used before, I am using the colors from each palette and mixing it in each time I'm using the colors. And I am just going to spray it with my setting spray. It's just water in the bottle from the pipe because I finished it a long time ago. In my Venus Vivid palette, using the shades Happy Place and Lux, I'm just going over the cut crease again and blending it in just so I can get the color to show some more. I am now using my L'Oreal Camila Cabello eyeliner, and I am just gonna do the eyeliner on my lash line. to finish it off, I am using Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. And you guys can go ahead and put in false lashes. I am not wearing false lashes because I don't have any and I don't know how to put them on. And I don't like false lashes on me personally. So I am just going to use my natural lashes. And Giuliana also finished her eye look by putting black eyeliner in her waterline and completing it with the same colors on her lower lash line. But I am going to do that after I do my face makeup. She already had her foundation on before the tutorial and I didn't, because I like to do my eyes before my foundation. So I'm going to do my foundation next. And then after my skull makeup routine, after my skull makeup look, I am going to do the rest of my eye look. So yeah. So I already did my foundation, my primer, and concealer, and I just skipped that part in the tutorial to make it faster. I am using MyTyes Timeless palette from MyTyes Cosmetics, and I'm using the lime green eyeshadow. And in my Artful Beauty palette, I am using the lime green eyeshadow called Luxury. And every time I use this color to blend, I always mix the colors in those palettes. I am using my big, fluffy, medium round, fluffy blending brush. I'm just going to start off by tapping the color on my face. I am just going to do what I normally do by contouring my natural face shape with the color to trace my cheekbone. So from contouring the color along my cheekbone on my natural face shape, I'm taking the color low towards my lips, the top of my lips. I started from the corner of my lip and I'm just going to keep blending it in. And I am going to use another brush to make some skeleton teeth around my lips. This detailed brush is more of a sharp edge, round edge, flat, tiny, medium, fluffy brush right here. More detailed. I am going to use this brush to make some skeleton teeth around my lips, under my nose, and on the bottom of my lips. And as I'm doing the teeth, I try to make it as detailed as how she did it in her tutorial. Because as I was doing this tutorial, I was watching her tutorial at the same time. And I couldn't get my teeth to look like teeth as I was blending the colors. But you'll see later on. This is my second time ever doing a skeleton look. The first one I did was a purple skeleton makeup look that I deleted online because it was bad. The lip color that I used, I think it's on my channel. I don't remember if I have it up still or if it's out because of copyright, but it's still on my channel. This is my second attempt of doing this look. Not the same look that I'm doing right now, but doing a skeleton look in general. So I'm just doing this out of practice. I am not very skilled at doing looks like these yet. So yeah, my teeth is round right now, and I'm using the same shades just to go over the blending of the edges, and I'm just going to keep blending it in the color inside the teeth. I am using this shade Mate from my Jeffree Star Morphe palette. As you can see, I'm only going to film me doing the left side of my face. I did do both sides of my face on camera, but it will take so long to edit together and to watch, so I cut the other side off to make the tutorial faster. I'm using the green shade to trace over the light green shade that I already have on over the edges, just to shade it in and buff it in to give it more contrast. And I am just contouring it along my cheekbone, and I am using the same brush that I used before for the teeth, and I'm just going to use that shade to trace over the teeth and give it more detail in the shading areas of my blending. I am now going into my black Smoky palette, and I'm using the dark blue shade again, and I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just shading it in, blending it in along the dark green shades that I already have on, and I'm just going to trace over the edges along my cheekbones, and I'm just going to place a color on the teeth, and I'm just going to do some shading in the details of my skeleton teeth, and I'm just going to buff it in along the edges. And I'm now going to use my NYX Jumbo Pencil in the shade Milk. And I'm using a tiny, flat edge, fluffy, detailed blending brush. And this part took a long time and it seemed like forever. I am just taking this white shade in between the lines that I did on my cheekbone, and I'm just going to trace the lines in between and make it a nice thin white line to outline the edges. And I'm also going to outline the edges of the skeleton teeth. I am now going in with the shades Happy Place and Lux from my Venus Vivid palette, the yellow shades, and I'm just tracing the white outline with the yellow eyeshadow. I am now going back with my Milk Jumbo Eye Pencil from NYX, and I'm just gonna trace the yellow outline in between the yellow eyeshadow with this right angled, tiny, flat, detailed brush. I am using another blending brush. I am using a tiny flat round blending brush, and I am just going to draw the skeleton nose on my nose. It's going to be in a shape, an oval shape. I'm using all the same colors that I used on my face and on my eyes, and I'm just going to do it the exact same way as how I did the skeleton shape on my face. Now that I am finished drawing the skeleton shape on my nose, using the same colors and the same way that I blend my face skeleton, I am using Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighter in the shade Peach Fizz, and just going to highlight my face. I am also just going to tight line my waterline using black eyeliner, and I am just going to buff in the same shadows on my lower lash line to complete the look. I hope you like this makeup look that I did. If you do, like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!